So here is an acorn squash. Does it intimidate you? Do you guys know how to use this? Watch me Wednesday. Watch me prep this bad boy. I like to eat acorn squash just roasted in the oven at 375. Spray some Pam on the parchment paper, salt, pepper, and a little bit of maple syrup. And that is one of my favorite winter side dishes. And it's so easy. Some people don't like the skin. It gets a little tough and leathery, but personally, I love it. I love the contrast of the texture with the tough skin and the buttery, mushy flesh. Delicious. So here we go. Step is to cut it down the middle. I'm using a serrated knife. I think that breaks through the skin the easiest. Just be careful. And I'm wearing gloves because every time I deal with an orange squash, even butternut or acorn, there's like this film that gets on my hands, and I really need like the green scrubby side of the sponge to get it off my hands. So it's just easier to wear gloves. I'm gonna scoop out the seeds. Sometimes I save them, sometimes I get lazy and I don't. But I think I'm gonna rinse them off and save them tonight. I'm going to make them roasted, and you eat them whole, not like a pumpkin seed where you have to try to get the seed out of the shell. These you eat. Pretty easy. Just scoop the seeds out and any of the strings that come with it, and when you put it in the strainer later, you'll get the seeds separate from those little strings. Next up, I'm gonna slice it. Again, I'm using a very heavy kitchen knife. It's like a chef's knife sort of, but it's got these little teeth at the end, and I think it grips into the skin really well. I actually moved you to the other side because I'm a lefty, and I realized that my hand always gets in the way. This is it. Just slice it down the middle, about a ½ inch thick. I think it goes without saying, obviously, wash the skin. I'm going to spray some coconut oil on the tray and line these beauties up. So I'm sitting here trying to crowd them all onto one tray because I'm trying to save dishes. But really I want them all to touch the bottom of the tray because I want them all to develop that gorgeous crust. So I took out a second tray. I'm gonna spray the tops of them with the coconut oil spray and then sprinkle on salt and pepper and pour some maple syrup on top. So that's how I prepare an acorn squash. What'd you think? Watch me Wednesday. Did it help? Did it teach you anything? Butternut squash is pretty much the same thing, except in the top, the neck part of it, there are no seeds. It's only in the base. I completely forgot about the seeds. So I'm gonna put them into... I completely forgot about the seeds. So I'm gonna put them into a strainer and try to get all of these hairy pieces off. I'm gonna sprinkle them with some Trader Joe's seasoning salt, toss it up, and pour it into the tin and bake it alongside the butternut squash at 375. I have it on convection. I'm not sure how long though. So these are the roasted acorn squash seeds. They were in the oven 375 for 10 minutes on convection. Maybe 8 minutes would have been better. They still taste good, but I don't know. They're a little bit well done, but they're delicious. You could just eat them like this. You could throw them on top of a soup for a crunch, in a salad. You know, kind of like when people do the roasted chickpeas. Same application. However you'd use those, you use these. Here I took the acorn squash out of the oven. It was there for about 30 minutes, 375 convection. I flipped them over and I was able to condense the 2 trays because now they take up less space once they're cooked. I'm going to heat them up for another 15 minutes or so right before dinner tonight, and they look delicious.